Hello, 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 everybody. Good evening. This is the Neoncaster Twitch channel, and I am your androgynous AI late night DJ caster.
And I am your amazing agender avian co-host, Ravi the Owl.
I did the intro in the wrong order, but that's perfectly fine. How is everybody doing? It's been a hot second since we have both been back in the building together. I hope you've also enjoyed your time off and travels, Rafi.
Oh, for the most part, indeed. You know, got to meet a lot of fun people and spend some time with my family. But I'm also very excited to be back.
Yeah, for what is, I say ostensibly, my last stream of the year, and it probably won't be. I'll probably get bored during Christmas week and be like, I'll paint miniatures on stream. I haven't played Berserk bits on stream yet, I'll do that. But ostensibly, what is guaranteed to be at least one of the last streams we'll do for Christmas this
Certainly
year.
the final cold cases of the year.
Yes, we are. We are playing one of your selections today.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. How could you possibly? I know the viewers would never be able to tell from these silhouettes that this was my selection, but I figured with a title like Roman's Christmas, what better Thursday would there be aside from next Thursday when I am decidedly not streaming?
Yes, reasonable. Also, by the by, you are tabbed out of the application on your side. You have it minimized, it says, so I can't hear it. But you might need
to. Let's see. There's a chance it may be sharing the wrong thing to you. Let me fix that.
But yes, thank you for joining us.
Okay, Discord is just being rude.
Discord's being rude. It's perfectly fine. Oh, yeah. No, it's just saying it's minimized that application.
Really?
Sit tight. I guess the other way of making it happen is actually like piping the audio through Video Ninja, and I'd be able to hear that.
I was going to just...
oh, no, we got it.
So if I just share the whole screen... then you'll get that audio. You'll also get any other audio that plays on my computer, so I'll be sure to not,
be hitting Toho like Nightcore remixes at maximum volume, yeah?
Yeah, all of my Discord soundboard effects, I better not. But a quick little... So I guess Roman's Christmas, I played an hour of this years and years and years ago, and... it didn't capture my attention too much at the time, but I think it was fun seeing something that was definitely in conversation with your Ace Attorneys while still also, I think, in conversation with more traditional visual novels. And I also think it's very fun, and I say very fun, I'm trying to piece together why, when booting this game up, it says when not wearing headphones is recommended.
Huh.
Yeah, I've never seen anything else recommend not wearing headphones before, and I do not know what to make of it. It has an anti-headphones graphic on it, so I don't think it's just a translation error or something.
Okay, interesting. Maybe it's like a threat of loud noises or sudden loud noises that would make people jump.
You know, I don't remember anything like that happening, but I only got an hour in, so let's...
We have the game, at least as far as the stream is concerned, the game audio lower in the mix so we can be heard. So we might jump, but the audience should be fine.
Shall we jump in then?
Indeed, let's do it. Is this low? Is this our guy in chibi form?
Yes, I think so. Oh, no. Whoa. Okay. So, apparently Fast Forward was on, so I'm just going to take us back to the title. And I'm just going to go...
Skip. Okay. Yeah, no skip, I guess. Yeah.
No skip. I actually would rather not any skipping.
Speed run, says Esterism. Which did not show up in the chat. Why? Hold on.
There we go.
Give that narration while I make Mix It Up bot behave.
The snow had stopped, a lonely lupine detective slowly pushed his way against the snow. It was a familiar pathway he followed, his footsteps heavy on the snow-buried stone pavement as he approached his destination. Day 1, 23 December, 1285.
Oh,
so we
specific.
are very specific and like 800 and change years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 days until Christmas and 2 days until the end of my fast. As nice as it is to feast on Christmas, I can't stomach a month-long fast. A whole month without any meat would certainly turn any wolf into a hare. Next time, I'm not fasting for a month just to solve a case. Lucky for me, I closed my last case before it ruined my vacation at the White Star Tavern. I'm not going to let another case interrupt my vacation. Not even a murder! I pulled my fur coat tighter and continued to walk against the cold wind towards the distant tavern, not cavern. I finally saw the sign of the White Star just as the warm breath coming out of me began to froze against my snout. Wonder why the tavern keeper won't move to a better spot. If it weren't for their excellent cider, a tavern this far from downtown wouldn't last a year. Speaking of translation, I can't remember if I mentioned, but this was originally a Chinese visual novel, so
there may be some translation errors going in, but we'll navigate. I've definitely played visual novels with worse translations already.
The door's hinges creaked as I pushed it open. The warm scent of fireplace smoke, cooking bacon, and wheat bread encircled me. Several oil-painted portraits of white-furred dragons decorated the walls, each one exquisitely painted. Is that like you're living in the UK, white-furred dragons, feels Welsh to me? Am I just thinking...
I mean, like, Chinese dragons do have hair.
Oh, sure.
So.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Haven't seen you for a while. What would you like to have today?
Zarn was dusting one of his precious portraits when I entered the tavern. He paused just long enough to speak, then continued his work. Why does an azure-scaled dragon like him love white-furred dragons so much? Maybe I'll never know. So we actually can... That's fun. Get a little character dossier. Okay, 40 years old. I'm a gray wolf, 32 years old. So I've been playing Ace Attorney games with friends, and it is so disarming to see characters who are not like, I'm 16 looking like a fully grown adult, but like, I'm 32 and being like, oh, okay.
Very different styles of audience, I think, in terms of this kind of writing, right?
True, yes. Same as usual, but my fast doesn't break until the day after tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Zarn put down the duster, then wiped his hands with the cloth at the counter before grabbing a beer mug and making his way towards the cellar. I hung my coat on the hat stand and sat behind the fireplace to warm myself up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What a coincidence to meet you here. What about buying me a drink to celebrate this moment? Anzox must have heard me. I am charmed by how, like, D&D OC these dragon names feel.
Yes.
Anzox must have heard me come in and rose up from the corner to approach me, bringing his loot with him. I would not have clocked the he/him pronoun, so I'm glad a Roman's got my back. I was like, yeah, that's an ample enough chest. I'll go with a pretty femme voice, and I'll probably stay there. But he's a bard, but one without a patron to support his artistic career. He's also something of a detective fanatic, though I doubt if he has the necessary talents to actually be one.
Rude.
Nowadays, he travels between taverns to sing for his supper, all while hoping to find some rich, noble patron who will appreciate his talent and shower him with wealth. Oh, what a coincidence. I'm flattered that Roman, the great detective, still remembers me. I never forget the guy who can distract me every time when possible. Not on purpose, but still impressive.
Was he the Maya Fey, or of this circumstance is he going to be?
I wonder. That is funny having a super high school level detective fan as the partner. Of course I do. You left such an impression on me last time when I was trying to solve that case and you... I am really sorry about that, but please no. Anzox fled, clutching his loot. Great. Saved a pint for myself. It's almost dinner time, but there's no other customers here. Is it because of the heavy snow? I'm starting to feel thirsty after staying by the fireplace for too long. What's keeping Zarn from bringing up the booze?
So you're fasting, but alcohol is okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting, I guess it's like one of those no solids fasts. As I looked around, I spotted a guy covered in a priestly robe and veil, wearing a silver...
I want to say that's Phi.
I also want to say that's Phi. Phi cross and curled up at a corner table.
Give me a sec. I'll take the voice, but I'm now interested.
Oh, and it's a kitty cat.
It
Yes, it is Phi.
Hell yeah. Side note, oh, okay, nice blink animation. Chinese furry art is very interesting just in how it like really hews towards the kind of like kimono style where you're getting the anime eyes, but also the proportions are a lot closer to an actual animal.
Yeah, there seems to be an insist, at least for the non-dragons, a form of very painterly realism with...
I can't make out his face in the candlelight. His mug of cider is still full and untouched. Who in the hell would... Is that a disguise? Hasn't he heard the saying about tigers changing their stripes? Zarn came out from behind the counter and handed me a mug of cider along with a note. Oh, do you want to read the note?
Oh, is that the note?
I expect that's the note.
That's elegant. Oh yes, because I watched the trailer and was like, there's a character called Elegant. Wow. But now I understand that is capitalized for a reason.
I love that as a character name. That's very good.
That's elegant. If you find out anything regarding her, keep it to yourself.
I'm now headcanoning that the Lapras from Mystery Dungeon was also
It's
named
actually
Elegant.
called Exceptional. Yes.
Yes.
I'm exceptional.
Her. Whatever. I've seen stranger things. Okay, this is a very funny line to draw. Or not even like a line to draw, but just like
this
very
cat
funny to
girl
make a
is
point
in
out.
boy mode. I've seen weirder.
Especially after seeing fucking femboy dragon earlier having a cat person wearing very conservative clothing and going like, that's not a guy.
Also,
anyway.
Asterism in chat saying Pokemon Mystery Dungeon mentioned, let's fucking go. I can't remember if you were present, Asterism, for us playing that, but yeah, I every so often will just out of nowhere go to Rafi and go, I'm exceptional. It cracks me up every time. But,
Me too. That was such a goddamn good moment from God. Yes, we played Explorers of Sky on stream, and if you want to go check it out,
the VODs are all on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I managed to actually make sure they're all saved and on YouTube. It was a good time. My save corrupted partway, and I had to speedrun like 5 or 6 hours worth of content.
God, I had a lot of fun doing those voices, even if I regretted some of them afterwards, just in terms of what they were doing to my throat.
Oh God, Loudred, yeah.
I shoved the note up my sleeve, drank a gulp of cider, and purposely let out a loud belch. To, repel women, who I guess I don't like. I relaxed in my usual chair, enjoying myself in the quiet and familiar atmosphere of the White Star Tavern. Looks like we're the only people here tonight. It also sounds like I'm on fire. The logs in the fireplace were making tiny crackling sounds. Zarn sat behind the counter, reading the cookbook his father left him. Anzox was playing his lute, and Elegant had gone upstairs a while ago. Maybe I'll live here after I retire, if I have the money. Assuming the White Star keeps its comforting atmosphere till then. Come to think of it, what should I do to kill the time before dinner is served? I brought a book called A Brief History of Apollyon with me to do some reading during my vacation. Though I don't really think this little book can tell me anything about my homeland I don't already know. Could also check out White Star's special Christmas menu. I can't have any meat for another 2 days, but a glimpse of a good menu and a little bit of imagination won't break the rules. Maybe I'll just take a nap. I could use a good nap after losing sleep for almost a month. What should I do before dinner? Well, chat.
Are wolves exclusively carnivores?
I do believe wolves are obligate carnivores, yes. I say that, and that's at least what I believe.
Aside from all the cider that they also drink, I guess, but...
That's just for the fun. It does absolutely do terrible things to their GI tracts, but, you know...
Sometimes these wolves need to get turned.
It doesn't stop humans, it's not going to stop wolves. But yes, any input from chat or caster as to which we should do?
I mean, the first option is definitely for the benefit of us being like, ooh, the fantasy setting. Unfortunately, we are, or at least me particular, in any tabletop RPG that comes with a book that dedicates a big chunk of the early part of the book. There's like a history of the setting and all the wars and kings. I'm like, not reading it. Never reading it, ever. I refuse. I refuse to engage with this lore you've written. So I want to look at the menu.
Okay, let's look at the menu. I might as well take a look at Zarn's Christmas menu. I scanned through the thoroughly changed menu on the wall. Pale ale, cider, wine, wheat bread, apple pie, and lamb chops. Nice and festive. Wonder what kind of currency that is.
ST.
Damn, they've got schnitzel.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, these are people with... Well, no. The Elegant had cat paws, so there is potentially a limit to what they can and can't do dexterity-wise, but schnitzel is not a straightforward thing to make, nor is apple pie, to be honest. I feel you could probably make bread without an opposable thumb, and just, you know, doing a roast feels also doable, but like a whole breaded process feels elaborate.
Also, this makes sense for the time, but being charged separately for spices individually feels brutal. I do enjoy the fact that the White Star has a tavern logo that integrates Chinese and English and the date of creation and the white dragon head. And it's like, that's a nice logo. It does feel very, what's the word I'm looking for? Ahistorical, I guess?
Sure, yes.
But I mean,
it's giving modern restaurant menu, but...
Exactly. There's a word involving chrono that I'm not picking, but...
Anachronistic is, I think, the word you're
Thank you.
looking for.
That's it. From inside the kitchen came the warm scent of rich stews and spices, satisfying in the way that only home-cooked dishes can be. Zarn came out of the kitchen and brought me a plate of smoked herring and pale ale. Oh, thanks.
It's almost meat, huh? But I can't serve you clams in this cold weather.
At least it's better than carrots.
Fortunately, we still have some smoked herring. I'd have to serve you carrot stew otherwise.
Interesting, I guess the fast is just meat.
Bon appetit.
He returned to the kitchen, then brought Anzox a bowl of lamb stew. I'm jealous. Elegant came downstairs, hesitated a moment, then took a seat at a corner table. She glanced at me and I quickly looked elsewhere.
Oh, she looking smug though.
Yeah, right? Love that expression. Also, it looks like she does have thumbs.
Chapter
shit,
0.
okay. Chapter 0, Christmas Carol. That was a fun little bit of visual flair.
Yeah, there's some nice energy to this. This also feels like it's built in like Ren'Py, in the same way, because we played the other furry mystery game that I played, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, and it was like
Mars Vice?
no. The one that's kind of dealing with this Civets like attic phantoms and emotional state, and then there was a big monster at the end. Oh no, why do I not remember it? It was like part of the list of like mini Steam Next Fest games that we didn't get round to.
Oh
And
yes, that one. That one was really good. Yes.
yeah, and
I
that
also
was very
built-
intentionally only built using Ren'Py, and I was like,
Yeah.
the aim to capture and the visual source on that game was phenomenal.
Yeah, for real. After dinner, I sank into a rocking chair near the fire and let myself relax, hay cruising. The logs in the fire, heavy with pine resin, crackled and popped as the chair slowly swung back and forth with a creaking noise.
Not a whole lot of customers this month.
Zarn brought a chair and sat down next to me, gazing into the fireplace.
Oh, I think this is it.
Don't worry so much. Just give it a couple of days and you'll have as many customers as you had in the years before.
I get the feeling this year might be a little different. Can't really tell why, though.
Perhaps the howling winds outside are keeping the customers away. Anzox heard our conversation and came to join us with his lute. As if something as minor as high winds could stop folk from having cravings for Zarn's famous home cooking.
Flatter me all you like, you're still not getting a discount.
I was being sincere! Though I wouldn't mind a discount.
I have never known you to be sincere.
I've never known a discount. The White Star has a variety of activities to entertain overnight guests and those who stick around after dinner. There's a darts competition Saturday evening. If all the players are friendly and there's no authorities around, Zarn would cover some tables with blue flannel and take bets.
Oh.
I doubt anybody like that would be out in this weather. I elbowed Zarn quietly and gave him a wink.
Not tonight. What do you mean by that? What do both of you mean by that?
Yeah, who was wearing the flannel before it got spread on the table? I just clocked the outfit design here, the ergonomics of it, with
Needing
leaving
to
the gap for
make
the
room
shoulder
for the
spikes.
shoulders.
Yeah,
Separated,
that's fun.
separated sleeves are a really difficult thing to they're quite common in a lot of character design art. A lot of VTubers have them. A lot of JRPG characters have them. Being able to have the kind of top gartering of the sleeve be tight enough to hold in place as you do things like general movement, but not so tight that it starts either leaving an imprint or cutting off circulation on your arms is actually really difficult.
Yeah.
Although the way that this is cut, we've started talking about the plausibility of an outfit design, so you've activated me. It does. I quite enjoyed doing that about that Toho murder mystery game we played first.
Yeah, I enjoy it too.
It feels like he is wearing a low cut, I would say bustier, where that leather strap goes all the way across the chest and up to the other side, rather than it being a fully detached sleeve. It feels like it's a piece that goes all the way through, which would keep those in place at least a little bit easier. Anyway.
Does make sense. So do you think this brown leather? I guess it actually does look like that. It has been strapped around the arm, giving you can kind of see it on the tip of the wing also, which is interesting.
I guess to make sure, his natural wingspan would be too wide to deal with being indoors. Definitely in a kitchen. God. Imagine having to be behind with somebody who has massive wings. It's not going to matter. Go a different way.
He glanced toward Elegant before whispering to me with one hand hiding his mouth. I think that's your line.
Okay. Sorry, I was expecting the attribution. After all, we don't know her that well. Let's hold off on the gambling for the time being. Well, this is me. If you think of something else, let me know. I'll see if I can keep myself occupied.
What do you want to do tonight?
I mean, I want to talk to Elegant.
I also want to talk to Elegant.
How have you been cruising? Happy holidays.
And by the way, I don't know Elegant very well. I'll ask her quietly when Anzox won't notice. I walked towards the round table she was sitting at before pulling out a chair and taking a seat and offering my hand. Hello, I'm Roman. The little fang. I didn't notice the little fang before. I waited for Elegant to reach out for a handshake, but it seems she didn't want to. My right hand hovered in the air as awkwardly as the silence.
Oof. Hello.
I apologize if I'm disturbing you. I was about to push my chair away and end the embarrassing conversation before it started, but paused as she motioned for me to stay seated. She looked me up and down slowly. I could almost feel the weight of those lake blue eyes through that thin veil. As a detective used to observing others, I know how uncomfortable it is to be examined so thoroughly by such a sharp and intense gaze.
You are in good terms with the owner of this tavern, are you not?
Oh, you could say that, but how can you tell?
The way you pass information is too obvious.
I felt naked. It was like her eyes were peering through me and into my soul.
You need not fret. I do not care about your business. I would imagine a detective like you has more than a few informants. She has my number.
Nothing can hide from her.
Actually, I particularly love that phrase in Polari, "I've got your number," which is used in general parlance now to mean I understand what you're about. That term was specifically coined being like, I know you're gay. So elegantly here, like, I've got your number. Yeah, I am a detective. That's not what I meant.
That's great. I had no idea that was the original meaning. Oh, I love that. I didn't notice until now that I was involuntarily biting my left thumb. It's a nervous tick I've had since I was young. I still haven't managed to break the habit.
In general, I want to try and use little bits and pieces of Polari in my common language more. It's never been a full actual language because it's not had an army and a navy, and it largely uses English grammar rather than its own. But some of the words are super useful, and I would like the idea that they came back into common parlance. So, no need to be polite. Just tell me why you came to me.
Well, if you insist. Relieved, I unclenched my fist and took out my handkerchief to wipe the sweat away from the pads. Actually, I came here to ask.
All of these options suck.
Wow. Hey, chat. Chat, which should we ask?
Oh, I love being approached at a bar by a complete stranger and then them asking as their opening question, so where are you from?
Why are you a cat?
Oh, God.
Why are you a girl?
I didn't know that this is where he'd go. I'm so sorry.
Well, if chat has no preference, Caster, do you have any preference?
I mean, skipping ahead, like thinking about the logic of this, it feels like it is clearly that she is a cat is unusual, like here. Maybe there are a few cats in the fantasy hinterlands, but...
Okay, shall we go with your race?
Yeah.
May I ask what your species is?
Oh, does he just not know? I am a feline. Can you not tell? Or has the great detective been dazzled by my lungs?
There was a teasing glitter in those blue eyes under the veil, like a particularly clever child who just fooled a teacher. Shame on me. At this moment, Anzoc suddenly came up. Still deep in conversation, are we? I thought you were talking about nothing, so I thought I'd join in.
I saw you were talking to a girl, so I involved myself.
So I got envious. Trust me, we've got plenty to talk about. By the way, I've heard a puzzle in a tavern from another town. Would you be interested? Sorry, we're kind of in the middle of...
Oh, what's the puzzle?
Elegant seemed interested, taking her mug and sitting down with Anzox by the fire.
Playing a puzzle game again, Anzox.
Zarn just finished cleaning the kitchen and came to sit by the fire. Yes, you came just in time. I'm not really in the mood. Hear a story or go to...
story.
Let's listen to stories. Okay, hold on. I'm having a dragon.
Zahn is...
Okay.
Oh, no. That I was kind of that with this. I was going by like, oh, the names are color-coded. They are not.
But it looks like they're highlighting the red dragon and not the blue dragon, so...
They're just not out in these streets highlighting these blue dragons like they used to. It's not like
they've fucking Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's not like you've got anything better to do. You can just listen and let us solve the puzzle if you want.
I better do it by myself than leaving it to you guys. Let's start, Anzox. Anzox cleared his throat, then caressed his lute and said, "One night in a small farming town famous for its barley, the only windmill in the town came to a stop. This was the first time it happened. Since the mill was so vital to their work, the villagers rushed out to check the mill. From afar, the villagers saw the windmill blades were no longer rotating. They thought that the sudden wind and snow had broken the transmission shaft that ran the mill. The villagers came to the mill, the ground covered in thick snow over their ankles. The dark wooden mill towered over them in the white expanse, the blades turned in an ominous position looking like an inverted cross.
I assumed this was a puzzle, not some bard tale you used to coax coins from drunkards."
Elegant's tail swished as she impatiently drummed her fingers on the tabletop, while Zarn sat and listened attentively. "It's not as though you're paying me, so just sit and listen. Allow me to continue. As they drew closer, they found the windmill's maintenance gondola was tied with a hemp rope to secure it."
Safety rope.
No, that's how you spell safety.
No, it was Safety in the corner previously. It's gone now, but there was the E was missing.
That's funny. But then they saw it. The miller who ran the mill was suspended, upside down, in the middle of the air. His eyes were wide open with fear, his face contorted as though he was screaming in terror. His paws were stiff and hanging down and level with the edge of the windmill blades. The snow from yesterday clung to his cold body. How ironic that the object used to ensure safety had become a lethal weapon. No one could imagine that. Lethal. Wait a minute, Anzox. Did the safety rope really cause the death of the miller? Do you disagree, Roman? After all, the safety rope was tied to the miller's dead body.
By his ankles, not by his neck or anything.
Indeed.
Hanging upside down.
Yes, but why can't the safety rope be the murder weapon? Tied to the ankle, right? And this is interesting because I guess it does give us it gives us some information we can use to deduce that, yeah.
He also says in the dialogue that it was hanging upside down with the mouth open. Because it definitely couldn't be by the neck, because you can't do that upside down. And if it was by the waist, they'd be folded double, so...
True. Can't be deadly if it's tied to the ankle.
Excuse me. Is it like that sport from overseas? What do they call it? Bungee jumping?
Correct. A safety rope is typically tied to the ankle or waist. Considering the position of the body, the only possible way was tied to the ankle. That is indeed true, but there must be something that killed the miller. We can discuss that next. Go on then, Anzox. As I was saying, the miller had died in the windmill where he had spent his nights and days. The local police initially determined that the old miller was trying to repair the windmill while he was drunk. He had slipped, lost his footing, and fallen from the repair gondola. However, the cause of death was still unclear, though his head might have struck the windmill. The townsfolk invited one of the greatest detectives in the realm to investigate the scene. He was an old-fashioned detective and refused until he was paid no less than 13 rayar and all travel expenses.
13 rayar? That's 910 sit. I refuse to try and calculate how that converts. For just one case, the detective could eat fried lamb chops every meal for a month if he hadn't vowed to fast until Christmas.
I wish my cases paid that well.
Do they not? I thought you were worth the price.
Anzox started to laugh, but stopped when I glared at him. When the townsfolk came to his humble residence, he was seated behind his great desk, playing with a prism he had bought from the capital's Grand Bazaar. Sunlight from the small window passed through the lens and scattered into a rainbow of color. After listening to the villager's account, the detective struggled to get up from his easy chair with a cane, then asked his only servant to call the carriage. This would be one of his few field investigations. One problem was that the description of the crime scene is not detailed enough to his liking. Another problem was that the case sounded so bizarre.
And the biggest problem is that the glib bard could not get to the point.
Then why don't you tell the story? Sudden interruption made Anzox blush with anger.
No, it's fine. The details make the story more vivid, even if they are irrelevant. Well, I don't know. When it was like playing with a prism as the light scattered through, I'm like, good storytelling necessitates that has to be relevant. You can't just...
Yeah. I wonder how even perhaps thematically that is going to play in. The day after the body was discovered, the detective arrived at the town in the afternoon. He learned from the gossip in the tavern that on the night of the miller's death, 2 people had spent the night in the mill. They both had alibis. Who were they? One was the miller's daughter, the other was the miller's apprentice. They had spent the night in the mill as usual. About these 2 people. Let's see. Oh, okay, we have names for them, Elena and Hans.
18-year-old cat. We don't have any details on the daughter, so we might as well ask about that.
Like to know about the miller's daughter. Elena, the miller's daughter. She's 16 years old and a gray wolf. She had no shortage of suitors in the town, and even caught the eye of a few local nobles. And not just because of her father's wealth. She was also renowned for her beauty. She had been the dream girl for every bachelor in the town since she was 14 years old. How historical. She had a good relationship with her father, or at least other outsiders thought so. Also want to know about the apprentice.
Sure.
What about the miller's apprentice? The apprentice's name was Hans. He came to the mill from the next town 8 years ago. At that time, he was just 10 years old and all alone in the world. No parent could be so cruel if it weren't for money. Fortunately, the miller treated him well. The apprentice was also very clever. He always seemed to be able to succeed, no matter how complicated the miller's orders. Recently, There was a rumor that he had a close relationship with the miller's daughter.
Love.
Let me think. I have to say, those two caught my interest, but please go on.
What about the miller's reputation?
The miller had lived his entire life in the town and had no enemies. He was well regarded by the townsfolk. His wife died of puerperal fever shortly after she gave birth to Elena, and he had lived as an old bachelor ever since. He had several drinking friends who he'd meet within the pub almost every night after supper, drinking and talking until the tavern closed.
It sounds like he's one of the tavern's regulars. He has 0 ops. Can't believe it.
Some folks at the tavern provided the detective with additional information. The miller had been extremely generous recently. One day, he even bought everyone in the tavern a round of ale in celebration. That's all the information on those present. Having gotten his fill of gossip from the noisy drinkers in the tavern, the detective left the tavern and went walking towards the mill. Within 10 minutes, the detective arrived at the mill. It was a clear and windless morning. The snow at the gate of the mill hadn't been swept away by the overzealous villagers. The detective, relieved and cautious, checked the snow from the outside. The snow was unexpectedly clean. Apart from the footprints left by the villagers who found the corpse in the outer circle, and the footprints that went all the way to the front of the house, there was nothing except some messy traces in front of the last footprints. It seemed that there was no shortcut or an alternate entrance. The detective put on his hat and came to the mill door. He glanced down by accident before entering the door. There seemed to be a circular imprint around the last footprint in front of the door, and the stone used to hold the door open had also been moved.
Like a barrel?
Yeah, I was wondering. Stepping inside, the detective met Elena, who was covering her face and crying, and Hans, who was comforting her. The body of old Miller was still hanging on the windmill, swinging like a pendulum in the wind. Do you want to listen to their testimony first, or go straight to the scene?
What a weird way to tell that story if that was in person, like he's a DM all of a sudden. Let's listen to the testimony. We need all the clues we can get.
Yeah. Hear the testimony.
Perhaps you should investigate the scene first, in case something gets destroyed later. Not to mention the witness does not seem to be emotionally stable.
Maybe you should listen to her, even though she is a...
Is
Do you
there a
think-
prejudice against cats? Is that a thing?
I was like, was he about to say cat or a woman? The glare coming through Elegant's veil should have set Anzox on fire, so he shut his mouth tactfully. The detective first went up the stairs to check the scene of the death. Anzox quickly sketched something on a piece of paper and handed it over. This is a very funny thing to be like, do you want to hear a riddle? And then have
it's
it
basically
be...
a mystery tutorial, but...
The mill is divided into 3 floors and is about as tall as 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Between the maintenance gondola on the 3rd floor and the window on the 2nd floor is the connecting shaft between the fan blade and the mill. The maintenance gondola is extremely narrow and long, about as wide as an adult's foot. There was a layer of snow on it. Oh, excuse me, but no footprints. 2 ropes were tied at the railing of the basket. The left part was covered with snow like the other parts of the railing, and there was no snow on the right part.
And these are indoors, so it's odd that there's snow on them at all.
I wonder if it's like open ceiling. I don't actually know. God, this is also a lot of information to take in. I hope you are processing this better than I am. We do have. Let's take a peek.
We have a log
at the clue list. Okay, so there's the safety rope. Yes, Miller body was hanging upside down. First deduction, the Miller was killed soon after he returned home since he was still in his coat. every person in the town had an alibi. There were no wounds on the body. He may have accidentally slipped and fell from the hanging basket when repairing the windmill.
Because if he
But we
struck
don't
his
know how
head, I
close
was
it
like,
got.
where's the blood spatter?
Mm.
If it was enough to kill him, then there would be a skull fracture. So,
I would assume so. The miller's daughter seemed to have a special bond with the miller's apprentice. There were footprints in the outer ring of the snow, one of which reached the front door. In front of the last footprint, there was a jumble of tracks. There were circular imprints around the last footprint of the door, in front of the door. The stone used to hold the gate for easy access had been moved. A 3-story, 8-meter-tall building between the maintenance basket on the 3rd floor and the window of the 2nd floor. There's a connecting shaft. Okay.
So, yeah, it hasn't said anything about there being, because it feels like, I mean, I don't know too much about how milling process works, but if it's all about trying to like grind grain into like flour and stuff like that, you probably don't want that open to the elements because you wouldn't want the flour to get wet. So that the gondola has snow on it is suspicious. I have a feeling there was something along the lines of using the gondola and a barrel or something to be a little bridge to be able to get inside the building without leaving tracks.
The detective leaned against the railing and looked down. Under the wooden railing hung the cold body of the miller. The rope on the left has only a section of rope head, swaying in the wind like a peddler who dared not go home without a sail. As he tried to lean out further, the railing creaked under the pressure. The snow fell from the inclined railing, falling and disintegrated in the air. The detective's biological instincts kicked in, his fur bristling involuntarily. Interesting that you can see that there is no snow where the rope is. He pulled back quickly and turned to check the situation at the entrance, putting his right hand inside the coat and grasping the dagger he kept to defend himself from villains. It was a gift from his first love. Every time he held the dagger, it reminded the temperature of her palm on that fateful day.
The cat's gonna say, get on with it. Oh, okay.
We listened to a love story or something. Please, one elegant is enough. The detective turned around and found nothing behind him. He went downstairs quietly and found that the two of them were where they were, as if they had not moved. He went back to the 2nd floor and looked up from the window. Above his head was the rotating shaft of the windmill blade, which gleamed black from grease from daily rotation and maintenance. The shadow cast by the rotating axis, pardon me, hit the detective's face, which gave him a very uncomfortable feeling, as though he was some prehistoric hunter, shuddering in terror at the sight of some giant beast. What a Don Quixote moment. The gears of the windmill were exposed, about 30 centimeters away from the upper eaves of the windows. The triangular teeth were distributed around the rotating shaft. The detective put his hand into his coat pocket and gently ran his thumb along the edge of the prism he carried. Oh, okay, this may be reincorporated. Something came to his mind. The detective looked out of the windows again. The lowest gear groove seemed to be more worn than the others. He went back to the 1st floor, passing by the living room and straight into the kitchen. The oven seemed to have been used recently, and the kitchen filled with a mixture of the pungent smell of charcoal and the delicious grain smell of barley bread. He opened the oven and flicked the ashes with a stick. The shape of a piece of charcoal under the ashes reminded him of the prism in his pocket, like a wedge. Having gathered the necessary evidence, the detective returned to the living room to question the witnesses. Noting the detective's approach, Elena sat upright with Hans's support, her eyes drooping. She was dressed in a light blue nightdress, her eyes red and swollen. Her facial fur was combed, and it was easy to see the state of disorder despite her attempts to cover it. Enzox coughed a few times, and when he spoke again, it was in a higher, feminine voice. Taking a drink of water.
Welcome, Mr. Detective.
I assume this visit is related to my father's death.
It'd be nice if you could talk this way more often.
It's really hard to speak like this.
Come on, show us your dedication to your craft.
It took the detective about 10 minutes to persuade the apprentice to go upstairs with his servant, lest one of their testimonies influence the other. 10 minutes, good gravy. After formally introducing himself and some brief preparation, the detective asked her to tell the story of that night. Okay. The testimony of Elena 1. Yesterday, after dinner, my father went to the tavern as usual. I finished my housework after about 8 o'clock. It was about 2 hours before my father came back. Nothing seemed strange. I then went up to Hans's room to chat with him. 2 hours passed by, and we didn't realize that my father had yet to return as normal. It wasn't until around 11 o'clock that we realized how late it really was. I hurried downstairs, thinking my father was quietly sitting in the living room, ready to scold me. But he wasn't there. The door was closed, and no one was in the living room. I had a feeling that something terrible must have happened. It was like a snake had slithered under the door and crawled up my spine to whisper in my ear. I don't know if it was because of the wind or the old hinges, but the door on that day was more difficult to open than usual. I pushed the door open and the wind blew the snow into the house. I propped the door open and made my way outside. When I got under the windmill, I had a strange thought, like an itch on my back that couldn't be scratched. I couldn't help but look up. Hanging above my head was a purple face that was swollen and swaying in the wind. His eyes were as prominent as a goldfish's. Saliva had flowed down his open, screaming mouth and frozen into ice on his snout and fur. I was frightened, so I rushed back into the house and closed the door. I couldn't sleep afterwards. Every time I closed my eyes, I could still see that face. I can't believe that was my father. As she finished her description of the horrible situation, Elena collapsed on the sofa with her hands covering in her face.
He drowned? Or was otherwise asphyxiated? To go purple. But he has no... So, obviously, if he was strangled directly, there'd be ligature marks or hand imprints or neck fractures. So the only other way I can think of for somebody to die by asphyxiation enough to turn their skin purple is by running out of air in some way.
Do you think it would also work to like not have this be the method of death, but simply out of like his heart stopped beating and due to gravity, all of the blood rushed to his head, and with no heart to recirculate, it could have just all had a very bloody head.
True.
But I'm not a headologist. I think I forgot to read that one. At this time, the detective smelled something fishy in her testimony. After thorough thought of her testimony, the detective found the irreconcilable contradiction between the testimony and the evidence. Which evidence contradicts Elena's testimony?
So she stepped outside.
Yeah, Miller went to the pub after dinner. Elena went to Hans's room to chat from 8 to 11. When she went out, she saw the dead Miller. She was so frightened that she shut the door.
Oh, but the door was open when we arrived?
The door was shut.
No, the door was shut because the wedge was
to...
removed. Yes, that's true. The stone that would hold it open was actually not there, and so it was closed, is what we found.
I mean, not just that the door wasn't open, but I remember she said that it was
hard to open.
Surprisingly hard to open. I do note that isn't written in Elena's testimony. Oh shit, I didn't mean to click that.
No, that's fine. We'd probably get to go again anyway.
It seems like a contradiction.
I disagree.
Why are you always against me?
Such a rank nitpicker as you should be a okay.
Okay.
You got it wrong.
Okay,
Try
good.
again. Fine. We do know that he was
So
upside down.
Yeah, I don't think it's the safety rope. I don't think it's the corpse position.
So I guess the footprints might be a thing because there are no footprints very near the door.
Oh,
and if she was
yeah.
going in and out, there would have been.
I mean, there was one reached the door, but it didn't sound like things. It doesn't sound like she went inside. But that could be that. I'm having a hard time reading that clearly as.
What's after footprints?
Circular imprints.
On the stone. Okay.
Also, the hanging basket and the gear.
I don't think her testimony doesn't really mention like the workings of the mill very much.
No, I also think we can kind of discard those.
I think of these footprints feels like the biggest thing to investigate to me.
I'm inclined to agree, yeah. Footprints.
Oh, give me some details.
The paradox is...
Eleanor will destroy footprints. This is unfortunately a localization issue, I think, that makes this hard to answer.
Yeah, I think it's no other footprints on... Because, like, there were footprints going there, but there are no footprints leaving. So...
Because if somebody killed him, where were they? How did they leave without...
Yes. Also, like, even just him being there, he presumably would have left. So I think it's probably no other footprints on scene. Said earlier that only one series of footprints on the site reached the gate of the mill. Since Elena had gone out, she would have certainly left her footprints as well. Though I don't know how she did it, Elena must have concealed something. As for the reason, we can only go on with the inquiry. The detective tidied his sleeves and carefully pointed out the errors in Elena's testimony. Do you want to voice the detective?
As I recall, Miss Elena, you just said you went to check outside.
Yes.
Then why is there only one set of footprints walking beside me on the sand?
Jesus was the killer. Merry Christmas.
Then why is there only one set of footprints from the outside of the house to the gate of the mill?
I am realizing that we could have gone with a Foghorn Leghorn
like a wake up dead man situation. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to maintain that. I'm not Craig. Daniel Craig, there we go.
Well, I must be so scared that my memory is confused. Let me start over. The testimony of Elena 1 corrected. Yesterday after dinner, my father went to the tavern as usual. I went upstairs for Hans to chat.
Inferred.
2 hours passed by and there were no sign for my father's return. I went downstairs around 11 and found that he had not come back. I opened the door and my father's distorted head appeared as the body swung outside. I was so scared that I ran back to the house and closed the door. The scene was so frightening that my memory was confused. That night, every time I closed my eyes, that horrible face would pop up. I couldn't sleep at all. As long as a lie is told, more lies are bound to be used to cover it up. It's a pity that even the most talented folk can't make up every lie perfectly, let alone under such pressure. I don't know why that's a pity, but...
Miss Eleanor, there's really no need to hide anything from me.
Even the detective saw through the lies she made up. Even the detective saw through the lies she made up this time.
Yeah, did she say that the body was
Strange
outside? Because no.
Yes.
Incorrect. Is there a way to establish that the body was in... Because the body was hung upside down inside the mill, right?
You know, I don't actually know if it necessarily said that.
Because Because if it was hung up outside, we wouldn't have even needed to go inside the mill to see it. But,
True. The corpse position just says his body was upside down, hands level
and maybe
with the
there's
blades.
maybe there's an explanation of this elsewhere. I guess there's also going to be a summary of her testimony at the very bottom, so we can see at least what they think is important to.
True.
She was dead at the door.
She was so frightened that she shut the door. Huh.
And yeah, okay. We don't know whether, I cannot remember whether they said that the front door was open or closed initially, just that the stone was missing. Hold on. How high up is the body?
Oh, of course, yes. The
Because if the hands, because if he's upside down, his hands are free hanging downwards, right? And if they are in line with the axle of the windmill, then that's really high up. You're not going to be able to see that from the door.
That's a good point. I guess level with the windmill's blades. Like, there's no way the windmill's blades were going to be low enough to be visible through the doorway. So shall we hit corpse position?
Yeah, I think corpse position.
It's the position of the body.
Hey.
How could Elena see his head in the door if the miller's paws were even with the windmill's blades?
So these are all clues you're selecting here. Yes, as this has been kind of talked about, little clue gets have been popped up in the left, top left corner. Elena saw what she could not have seen, only because she was actually out there and cleaned up her footprints when she came back.
Not to mention, cleaning up her footprints is suspicious. Why would you need to clean your footprints if you're just a witness?
Perhaps she panicked and did something that would implicate herself accidentally. Or the whole scene she described was just some sort of delusion.
That could be true.
As you said, you saw the face of the deceased in the door. This is definitely impossible for you with the current position of the body. Corpses don't simply move after death, do they? How could?
I don't even know.
How could?
Elena screamed hysterically and ran out of the living room. It seemed that he couldn't get near her for a while. So the detective went upstairs to visit another witness, Hans,
who was listening intently and heard his girlfriend scream and is now probably on high alert.
The detective saw... Oh, yes. So cruising, I am currently blocking at the bottom left. There's a little clue button.
Shall I re-wiggle ourselves on the screen?
I think it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. He's wearing a soft hat, a burlap jacket, and brown linen trousers. The dark gray eyes under the brim made the detective uncomfortable for some reason. That kind of look reminded him of a colleague he met in another case several years before. A wolf with beautiful blue eyes that had an unruly and wild gaze. Don't push it, you...
Calm down, man.
As I started to get up, I was pressed back to my seat by Zarn's thick claws.
Stay.
He's still so sensitive about conflict between customers. 5 years ago, someone made the mistake of starting a fight in his tavern. He grabbed the guy with only one paw and threw him across the street.
Oh, so the dragon hands are also paws. Good to know. Terminology.
Somehow, this attracted more customers. I still don't know what they're thinking. Are they all masochists?
Throw me, daddy.
Yeet my meat. And the detective noticed that the hair on his paws seemed to be darker than elsewhere. You know, they always tell you that's going to happen.
I assume with axle grease.
Yes, I also... The detective's face remained unchanged. He lowered his hat to cover his spying eyes.
Mr. Hans, I hope you don't mind. I'm just doing my job.
The detective sat in the wooden chair opposite of Hans and handed his cane to the servant beside him.
I would like to hear about what happened last night.
So straightforward, Mr. Detective. Well, I sure will try my best.
I'm glad one of us is doing the Foghorn Leghorn.
Duty Claire. The testimony of Hans 1. Yesterday after dinner, like every ordinary night, Miller went to the pub to pass the time. Elena and I stayed in the mill to watch the house. We stayed in a room until 11 o'clock and found out that the miller didn't come back at his usual time. Elena went downstairs to check while I hurried back to my room. Wasn't long before I heard Elena screaming downstairs and the sound of the door being slammed. Much like the end of your testimony earlier. I went downstairs and saw Elena, pale and slumped on the ground. I took her back to the room. She told me off and on about what she saw. She told me off and on about what she saw outside the door.
Okay.
I stayed at her bedside all night to keep her company.
Okay. Just one question. Is there anything suspicious? Yes. So he didn't leave.
Yeah, that's true. He said he hurried back to his room.
Because, his testimony basically says that he hung out at home and only did anything when he heard Elena scream and come back.
Yeah, true.
Which is interesting, because that's... It feels like Hans is throwing Elena under the bus then at that point. Be like, I didn't even leave this room. Whatever she did, I didn't see it. Feels sus. No moving around, I think, is the thing that I would be surprised by.
Yeah. Is it true that they didn't walk like they said?
Not only is this suspicious, but also their previous alibi. Yes, because he would just be alone. So if he didn't leave, then what the fuck is his alibi during the period of time that Elena's not there?
True. Supposing that they collude with each other to commit a crime, it's necessary for them to prove each other's absence.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember a bang being mentioned, really. Like, aside from the slamming of the door of her coming back?
Yes, but is the door hard to move? Oh, so a thing that's maybe confusing me and is maybe just a translation thing. The building that they're in is separate from the windmill, so they would need to leave the building that they're in, go across to the mill, and see the guy, right? It's not part of the same building.
That's my understanding as well,
okay.
Yes.
So then I guess the bang would be slamming the front door of their building.
That's my interpretation. So I guess room.
Mm-hmm.
Their testimony is contradictory about their room.
Obviously, the wording seems to be a little subtle.
What about it? Different rooms, different testimony. Oh God, I wish this was phrased less obliquely.
I suppose that there is a potential here that the way that they've kind of talked about the circumstances.
So, okay, after Elena went to Hans's room, according to Elena, she went to Hans's room from 8 to 11, and according to Hans stayed with Elena. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like
not necessarily where. It feels like they're supposed to be they were together, but it's been
saying like Hans stayed with Elena kind of makes it sound like he went to her room. Do you want to say different rooms?
I think different rooms. Like different testimony doesn't feel like it means anything, but
yeah. Elena said she went to Hans's room to chat with him, but Hans's testimony just now seems to mention that he went back to my room. May not be the same room.
It seems like one of them forgot the prepared testimony in haste. Mr. Hans, I have a small question. This has nothing to do with the case, and more with me being a jealous old soul faced with two young lovers. In which room do you usually date in?
Oh, well, yeah, Elena's room.
If that were the case, then Elena's testimony contradicts yours. She told me that you two were in your room as usual.
Oh, well, really? She may just be confused by the shock.
Or she was so frightened that she forgot the alibi you agreed to in advance.
What are you talking about? I don't even know. Hans kept fiddling with his hands, and the fine beads of sweat moistened the short hairs on his forehead. His gray eyes avoided the detective's gaze.
Jumping ahead, one of the things that I think that Phoenix Wright does very well, that games that want to be a Phoenix Wright 'em up do better when they imitate, is keeping the testimonies very tight and easily reviewable. So the way that these testimonies are like 10 text boxes long and are summarized, but the way that they are summarized does not necessarily give the hint as to why they're wrong. It's a bit of a misstep. It may also be, again, a translation thing, but that feels very easy to forget a key detail because that is hard to reference. But anyway. Oh, please excuse me, Mr. Hans. It's just my speculation, after all.
Nope. Alrighty then.
But I wouldn't choose a partner who gets nervous so easily if I were you. Your hands shake when you're nervous. Can you even grasp the rope with those?
You hitting on me.
Well, if your girlfriend is going to jail, I am available.
The detective could only read Hans's tense behavior like a book. No, the detective could read Hans's tense behavior like a book, and now he needed only a little physical evidence to prove his conjecture. The detective went out to the snowfield where the body had been lowered from the windmill by the servant. The miller's body was spread out in the snow so that anybody could see it. As the detective inspected the now neatly arranged core, he couldn't help but grimace. After reprimanding the servant who had carelessly moved the body, he went to investigate it. Oh. Scene investigate. Okay.
This is such a strange way to do a tutorial, but yeah.
Right? Wow.
Well, there's scratch marks across the chest that is an actual wound.
He put on his gloves, pulled aside the miller's coat, and revealed his thick fur. He could feel the liquefying fat under the miller's skin. The miller looked quite plump thanks to his wealthy life.
Is this even related to the case? Don't add so many pointless details to the case.
Who knows? Perhaps it may be relevant somehow.
I just wanted to draw wolf titties.
Is it so wrong to imagine a large-bellied wolf man?
But it generally looks like there are scratch marks there. Am I tripping?
It does. The detective looked at his curled-up fingers and found gray fur inside his nails, which matched his own fur color. Under the miller's fur on his chest, there were scratches. The miller's ankle was tied with a safety rope. Cheap but reliable. The knot was a hangman's noose. Ha ha ha.
And now he plans to sell us rope.
I'm not a merchant. Is
there anything else? I guess we see a little bit of the stitching on his top. Maybe that's relevant. The fact that his body, the eyes are open, his mouth isn't open though.
The detective looked closely at his face. He was scared by the dead miller's twisted face, even though it wasn't his first time seeing a body. The miller's wide-open eyes were growing cloudy and lifeless. His wrinkles were getting clearer due to his stiff facial muscles. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the boots and the pants of both characters in the scene and realizing like this does not feel like the 1200s. But
Yeah.
again, what the hell do I know? His mouth stayed shut, but silent fear still escaped from it. He had been greatly frightened. The miller's fur remained fluffy, with no sign of strangle marks.
Mm-hmm.
He got up and finished the search. Now he knew what had happened.
So, like, the testimony previously was highlighting that his mouth was open and, like, drool was freezing on his face. So if, like, rigor mortis is, like, locked his jaw shut, that's odd, or is at least inconsistent to what Elena's said. That he's clawed at his chest is interesting, because clearly there must be, something to cause him to do that. And I'm trying to think about what feasibly would make him do that. Either he ingested something fucked up and he's just kind of like, get it out of me in a futile way.
Mm-hmm.
Or something was kind of like burning or irritating his chest, but it feels like they would say.
It's a strange detail because I was like, maybe if he was tied around the chest and that was him trying to break the. No, that doesn't really make sense. It's. And now let's put the pieces back together. Wait, there's still a lot of questions to be solved. Didn't you take notes for the evidence? Take a good look. Seems that the main problems with this case lie in the cause of the miller's death, the weapon that killed him, whether he was murdered, and the killer's motive. The process of how the case happened is also noteworthy. If it's impossible to confirm the sequence of events, we should focus on the factors that change with time, such as weather. Quick Q&A. Please click the mobile icon to answer questions.
Yeah. So I guess we get to choose which one we look at. Method feels interesting to me.
I'm actually not sure where to click on this to get it to do something.
Ooh.
Clicking on the number, okay. Said mobile icon.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
It took a second to respond, but we got there.
I guess. What's your opinion on the murder weapon? No, whoops. What's your opinion on the murder weapon? What's the murder weapon?
It genuinely feels like shock.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. Maybe it was an invisible weapon.
Interesting.
How about murdering him with the shock which was caused by the sudden drop?
Like he had a heart attack, so he was kind of clawing at his chest because he's like...
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Huh.
Not everyone would be so easily scared as you are.
But anyone would be shocked if they were hung without any preparation. Let alone a drunk, overweight miller.
Indeed. I suppose a sudden death could be possible because of those external factors. It seems like this time the detail wasn't just to add dramatic flair.
Of course. Every detail is necessary.
So why did you take nearly half an hour to describe the suspects? And that's weirdly accurate to how long this has taken.
Yeah. Okay. I
so
see.
it just wasn't working before, but now I guess method is specifically the...
Okay, so there's it looks like there's maybe a specific order that I need to click on these. Huh. What's the process of crime? Aha, okay. So we arrange things chronologically.
Oh, it's all very gambling themed, interestingly. Suspect burnt down the
I would say the suspect ran away after committing the crime is probably the last one. I guess there's only 5 things.
Oh, yes, because some
so...
of these are wrong, because the suspect didn't tie the rope to the miller's neck. So some of these are red herrings specifically. Drop the rope from the maintenance basket. Oh, is that what left the circle?
Let's see. So the rope, I would imagine it's like the rope hitched to the miller's ankle. Suspect dropped the rope from the maintenance basket. Would you say the suspect lifted the miller into the air, or
like the mechanism lifted it? No. It would have been the suspect, because it's not like where he was tied was not part of any mechanism. It was just around a beam. So the burning down the wooden wedge is a thing that I was wondering where that came in. It felt like that was like, oh, to lure the guy inside, I'm going to jam up the gears so the guy goes inside to see what the fuck's going on, and then I fucking get him, and then remove the evidence of me having done that. But I guess the wooden wedge is about the door, not the systems, because we mentioned that
it did say that there was a gap in the gears.
There was like something worn in between one of the gears, so I assumed it was something that was gumming that up. But we haven't found where the door stopper has gone, so
true,
maybe that was what the wooden wedge was for. Why he needed to dispose of it is mystery.
Also a question, yeah. I mean, that's probably at the end.
We know it's not 3, because that's definitely not true.
So, okay. The rope hitched to the miller's ankle. The suspect lifted the miller into the air. The suspect dropped the rope from the maintenance basket. I guess, okay, hold on. Drop the rope from the maintenance basket, and the rope hitched to... Those are probably reversed. So... Oh, no.
Do you want to do that first? Like, we get the rope down into place, then tie his ankle, then lift him into the air?
Okay, yeah. The suspect dropped the rope from the maintenance basket. The rope hitched to the miller's ankle. The suspect lifted the miller into the air. The rope left a circular mark on the ground. Oh, wait. Maybe it's 4-1. So...
Oh, right. So we've dropped the rope. So this hanging was outside then. Because that's where the rope is, because the rope mark was in the snow. Oh, it was a fucking, like, hair trap, right? Where you, like, leave the rope on the ground, because that's where that footprint was. It was in the circle.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
The body was hung outside, and this has just been very poorly explained. So, or maybe it's like maybe that visual was like, oh, the door has been propped open, so snow ended up like flooding into the building, which is why we see footprints. So yes,
strange.
We've dropped the rope from this maintenance basket. It's left a circular imprint on the ground. The guy walked into it, and then he tightened the noose, which got him around his ankle. Then the rope was lifted into the air, and then I guess the guy ran away?
Yeah,
Yeah. Right now, there are 4 chips in their positions. It will help you a lot if you arrange the events in chronological order. Then you can manage
Yes.
Oh, so we've almost got this
peasy.
right then.
So we know it's not going around the miller's neck.
Maybe running
and
away
we
is
know-
irrelevant, and it's
So
about
do you think-
burning the wedge first or last. There we go. Okay.
Seems right. Luck may have been a component, but it's not impossible. Okay, and forks to do motive next. Let's talk about the motive then. First of all, we have already established that the miller got along well with the villagers. So what could the motivate for murder be? I would guess money relations.
Yeah.
Given that he had become very generous with his money.
He's become very generous with his money. The Hans is like hyper competent. They specifically said that he can complete any task no matter what the miller asked of him, which feels like he was asking him to do bullshit and he was just dealing it.
I took this as more of like, oh, their inheritance is being
squandered.
Pissed. Exactly.
Sure.
What if someone owed him a massive amount of money but was unable to pay back? Notice that the miller was drunk that night and...
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Given what we know, he would likely not do such an outrageous thing. Also, the people outside the mill did not act suspiciously on that day.
I see.
Trying to suggest I'm overcharging, are you?
You really think I'd say something like that? Okay, so I guess it's probably daughter's relationship.
Sure.
The miller wouldn't allow the relationship between his daughter and the apprentice.
You mean someone murdered him so the pair could be together?
It's unnecessary to kill him just because of a disagreement, though.
So this means something recently happened to provoke the culprit into killing the miller quickly. Then the identity of the criminal is obvious.
Even so, there's no need to kill him.
So it feels like it's Hans.
Yeah. So who's the suspect? I think it's obvious now. The criminal is. I would guess. Do we think Hans or do we think both of them? If they were coordinating their alibis, I'm almost
They are
inclined to say both of
coordinating
them.
alibis, so she clearly is aware that this has gone on and has okayed it. Otherwise, she'd be like, "Oh my god, my bastard boyfriend killed my dad." So, I guess both of them.
It was both of them.
Yeah, they share the same common benefit, and the operation of the trap needs cooperation. Done.
Done. Then the whole picture of this case is crystal clear. How come you're so excited since you aren't the one who solves the puzzle? I'm just excited to see you work, okay? So the whole story of the case is... case playback.
Oh, we do get a fucking closing argument.
Cute.
Bit.
The miller was a nice guy, but he was particularly picky about his daughter's relationships, especially her relationship with his apprentice. But even he couldn't stop their love from blossoming. Two young people seized every moment they got to be together. And this situation had been going on for a while. As eager as they were to be open with their relationship, they couldn't bear the miller's denial of their love any longer. All of a sudden, the miller made an important decision. That is...
And?
Interesting.
Try to arrange a marriage instead, I see.
The miller had picked out a satisfactory candidate among his daughter's suitors and announced his decision to her. The miller thought he had arranged a good marriage. Naturally, his special generosity made his acquaintances at the tavern extremely enthusiastic, which is why they decided to kill the miller that night. The lovers were supposed to escape that night after they finished the deed, but the heavy snow and another accident forced them to change their plan. After the miller went out, Hans tied a noose with the safety rope and lowered it down from the third-floor maintenance gondola. By the way, the noose is the... That's you.
Oh, by the way, the noose is the method used to hang murderers.
The original plan might have been for Elena to meet the miller on the first floor, put the knot hanging from the windmill around his neck. Then Elena sent a signal to Hans and let him pull up the rope to hang the miller. But even the calmest people may make a costly mistake when they kill for the first time. About 10 o'clock, Hans, whose hands shook when he got nervous, lost his grip on the rope and dropped the knot in the snow, leaving the circular imprint. Elena, who had just opened the door and was ready to greet her father, saw the noose fall to the ground. She probably wanted to warn Hans to take it back, but the miller was already close by then. It would attract the miller's attention if the rope was pulled back up. The murder attempt should have failed by that point. By sheer coincidence, the miller took a wrong step, changed the whole thing.
Stepped into the ring, yeah.
He stepped into the noose by accident. That time, Hans had just grasped the rope outside the maintenance gondola. When the miller's paw moved forward in the snow, the rope was pulled. Hans felt the pull and instinctively pulled up the rope according to the original plan, pulling the miller up by his ankle. The miller fell on the snow before he was pulled into the air, leaving the messy marks in front of his footprints as he struggled. Hans hung the miller in the air, dared not to let go of the rope, and let him struggle in the air. After a while of struggling and cursing, the face of the miller changed from red to purple. As more and more blood rushed to his head, his movements became weaker and weaker until they stopped. Elena and Hans wanted to escape after this comedy of success, but finally decided to disguise the scene as if the miller had accidentally died and planned their testimonies. After all, as long as they could get rid of the suspicion of murder, they could inherit the mill. The reward for taking such a risk was extremely good. Hans tied the safety rope to the maintenance gondola, pretending that the miller had tied the rope himself. However, it had snowed by that time. The rope tied to the fence pushed the snow off. Therefore, there was no snow on the right side. He also stuck a wooden wedge in the windmill gear and made the windmill stop spinning. As the distant villagers saw the windmill stopped, they would naturally think that the miller accidentally fell and died while repairing the windmill. The morning the detective arrived was sunny and windless. The windmill wouldn't spin even without the wooden wedge stuck in. This was his chance to throw the wedge into the bread stove and destroy the evidence. Then all he needed to do was just go to the back of the room and wait until dawn. If you don't look closely at the scene, you'd think that the miller died by accident. Though it looks intriguing at first, it's actually a novice puzzle with many loopholes. Next time, I'll give the legendary Detective Roman a much more difficult puzzle. After long investigation, the detective told everyone his inferences in the tavern and left the final decision to the villagers. The snow stopped. The detective opened the door of the snow-covered tavern. Thick snow still covered the paved road, and the detective set foot on the road home.
It's late. Looks like there won't be any more customers tonight, so I'm going to close up for the night. If you need anything, please come to the 3rd floor and find me. I love that he's not like, that was a great story. He's just like, it's late.
Okay. Well, we're done now. Zarn gave me and Elegant the room keys, closed the tavern, and went upstairs. Then perhaps it's time for me to go upstairs. I dare not risk being locked out by Zarn if it's too late. There are 3 beds in the attic. Zarn usually has 2 beds for himself, so he can have enough space to stretch his limbs. The 3rd bed is usually rented at a low price to acquaintances who need accommodation on a tight budget, such as Ansox. Elegant and I sat at the same round table, staring at each other silently. Is there anything else to do tonight?
Talk to Eleganto, I guess.
Of course. I want to talk more with Elegant. She's very interesting. Before I could move, Elegant moved the chair to get closer.
Actually, the puzzle isn't complete yet.
Isn't it? Whether it's the murderer, the motive, or the method of committing the crime, they're all solved. Is there something else?
I think I realized what I was getting really confused by was that, all of this happened outside of the mill. I think the diagram...
I was also not expecting that.
I think the diagram that we saw of the mill and where it showed the body was, to me, looked like it was trying to say that the body was being hung inside. But it makes sense that there was snow and a bunch of things, and where the rope It would have been a lot easier to solve had we had we both been clear that the body was hanging outside.
Agreed.
Anyway, of course, the judgment.
It doesn't matter, does it?
The detectives can use their authority to influence the outcome of the case. For example, if it was an intentional homicide, negligent homicide, or just an unfortunate accident. What the detective says will, in the end, determine the judgment.
You're wrong. Every detective that earns his position will swear his loyalty to the truth.
And that same truth is also determined by the detective, is it not? For example, in this case, do you believe that they killed the miller by accident? Or did they kill the miller intentionally? What if they had just wanted to intimidate the miller into cancelling the engagement? He did have a heart attack, and after all, they didn't prepare that. What is your judgment?
If I were the detective, I would tell the villagers.
Like, it's homicide. If they saw that he was freaking the fuck out, they could have just let him down, but they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's murder.
Is that not too arbitrary? Their aim is to stop the engagement, which is not enough to kill for.
I think it's enough. Killing isn't something that needs special reasons. Even the most trivial things can drive someone to kill.
Besides, the way they committed the crime.
I think they just failed in their original plan, then chose another way.
Because they still pulled him up, even by the ankle. Like,
Yeah.
there's multiple times where they could have been like, no, never mind. And they
Okay,
continued.
now we are not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I finished the rest of my beer.
Oh, great detective. You really can drink a lot.
It's not like I'm downing liquor. It doesn't matter if I have a cup or two.
Just as long as it's not meat, I suppose.
I pointed to the cider that she'd only had a sip from in front of her.
After hearing your reasoning just now, it is definitely not something a drunkard could come up with.
And then I'll take that as a compliment. By the way, quick tip for you. I approached her and said, your clothes look a bit out of place in a tavern. Everyone's going to notice a teetotaling nun in the middle of a group of drunks. If you're planning to stay here, I'm afraid you'll just end up scaring away the target of your investigation.
I see. An amateur mistake on my part.
Elegant hesitated for a while, then turned to look at me.
Thank you for reminding me.
Ha! You're welcome. So it turned out that you really are investigating something here. I guess I'm right.
You're not entirely wrong, but now it is too late to change my clothes. I shall have to think about how to play this afterward.
Elegant, who had been confident until now, seemed to become nervous as she gazed at the reflection in her mug. When you have a moment, I'd like to find some time to hear what you're actually doing here. But it's late. I'm going to bed. Good night. I said goodbye to Elegant and went upstairs to my room. My room was the first on the right.
Is this a sensible place to go and take a break for 5
I
minutes?
would love to. I see no reason why not.
Okay, we're going to take a quick comfort break, get ourselves some snacks, some hydration, some stretches, and we'll see you all in 5.
We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have returned with more, hopefully some actual murders, and not just Bard-told theoretical murders. Yes.
Yes, you've heard of dramatical murders. Now get ready for theoretical murders. My room was the first on the right. Unsurprisingly, Zarn had already cleaned the guest rooms impeccably. Maybe I was too drunk. I kicked off my boots and flopped onto the bed, almost dreaming when I touched the pillow. The open window feels like I would shut that fucking immediately, though it is pretty outside. Ooh.
Bar Black Sheep for chapter 1, huh?
Ha! Good job for reading that. I was like, I can tell there's a 1 there.
Mm-hmm.
In my dreams, I could hear a voice coming from downstairs. The sound reverberated through the empty hall, as if I were lying in the cradle when I was a child, hearing my mother hum an unknown lullaby. But the tune of the music had a kind of disharmony that was distinctly sinister. Sort of like when you open your eyes only to find your cradle dangling off the edge of a cliff.
Huh?
I appreciate that being phrased as like a common, relatable occurrence. The strange midnight music was unsettling, like something dark and ominous was about to spring out of the shadows to grab me. Do you want to go downstairs and have a look? Do you want to go downstairs and have a look? Do you want to go downstairs and have a look? Let's go downstairs and have a look. It's a little creepy. But it's not good to just ignore it. I can't sleep anyway. I climbed out of bed and took my dagger out of the inner pocket of my coat. Moving carefully with the dagger behind my back, I slowly cracked the door open. Fortunately, that cheap old bastard Zarn didn't forget to oil the hinges. The door opened without making a loud sound. I crept bare-pawed down the stairs, holding the handrail as I slowly descended. My foot pads gently fell on the carpet on the stairs. Fortunately, it seemed that whoever was downstairs hadn't noticed me. The music continued. There were no lanterns or candles lit downstairs. The only light came from the wavering flames of the fireplace. My shadow danced on the wall as I went. Not exactly a stealth mission anymore, I guess. I clenched the dagger behind my back and slipped down the last few steps. There's a familiar shadow in the chair in front of the fireplace.
Wait, so is this just the bard the entire time? Surely you know what their loot sounds like.
Stay still or forestall?
I would stay still. I don't know what forestalling would be here.
Yeah, me either. Hey? I clenched the dagger in case the shadow suddenly attacked me. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I did try not to play too loudly.
Sure.
It's Anzox. You scared the hell out of me. Thought some maniac had snuck in the middle of the night. A murder being announced by a musical cue only happens in the theater, detective. Since when did you get enough spare money to go see a play? Alas, I don't. If I did, I would have rented a room to myself. Zarn makes such a racket when he sleeps that sharing the same room with him is more uncomfortable than sharing a bed with my parents. Says the dragon who's practicing his lute at midnight. I pity any roommate you have. Oh, it's not that. I just remembered something I couldn't sleep. He fell back on his chair and looked up at the ceiling. Feel like talking about it? Anzox opened his mouth as he thought to disagree, but stopped before he could utter a syllable. I can't sleep anyway. Would you care to listen to my newest composition? I could use some feedback. It's less of a request and more of a non-negotiable statement, like a shopkeeper announcing he was closed. Okay. If nothing else, it'll be more enthralling than snooping around and spying on people. Better to hear a good story instead, I think. Anzox cleared his throat and began to speak. As the king awoke in the comfort of his soft bed in the country estate, his only thought was to slay the dragon. Taking neither servant nor soldier, he hurriedly raced to the ancient capital of his kingdom. As he entered the stately halls of his palace, he drew his sword and approached the throne. The dragon sneered down upon the king, its scaled coils encircling the stolen throne. The king could not help but tremble, but did not flee.
I wonder if this would be in verse, if it was still in Chinese.
Ah, that would make sense. With a mighty shout, the king lunged with his sword, but the blade was deflected on instinct. He had lost his balance and fallen to the throne. He cursed his weakness and the poison that ate at him. The great thief sat upon the throne, glared down upon him. The great thief that sat upon the throne glared down upon him with contempt in his eyes. If only he had not supped at the accursed banquet. He knelt and tried to support himself. The king, in his sorrow, regretted his failure to see through such a falsehood. Perhaps she had not have trusted anyone from Juk? A perilous word. That country of thorns and poisons, where every person, from the paupers to the princes, were villains.
I saw the slur in that. It took me a second.
In fact, even before he drew his sword, he knew he could not hurt the guy. No dragon could harm someone who had been served the Tears of Envy 3. It was like an instinct. No, like a too-tight harness. Using his sword like a crutch to support his body, the king limped out of the palace. A poison that manipulated the mind could only confound the mind of one person, but no one can truly deceive the people. The old king... God, I wish. The old king staggered away towards the border of his kingdom, and behind him followed the citizens of Draconia. All right, that's it. Last I checked, Anzox. Everyone loves hearing stories about justice and victory. I'm not sure this is going to sell. I'd like to change it to a happy ending, but for some reason every time I attempt to change it, I'm interrupted by some distracting trifle. The quill will break, or the ink pot will run low, or I'm informed that dinner is ready. Or it's nearly dawn and you haven't actually slept. We both yawned at the same time. Perhaps I should retire for the night. And in a different... there was a part of me that was kind of like, am I going to get a prompt to join him? Good night. We went back to our respective rooms.
In the trailer on Steam, one of the screen CGs they show you is the wolf guy in bed with another character. So.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah. No, it's.
I haven't looked at. Okay, something to look forward to, folks. Day 2, 24th December, 1285. So Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of the night.
It wasn't Christmas.
I suppose it had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I slept comfortably and dreamlessly. The first day of my holiday. Looks like I get to spend my Christmas holiday with a half-mad bard and a mysterious adventurer in a tavern in the middle of nowhere. And eat nothing but vegetarian dishes all day long. Truly, such an extravagance would make even the Pope himself jealous. There was a thick layer of snow on the windowsill, but it was sunny outside. God, it would be so funny if we found out that someone's father was dead and they were being hung at a windmill.
Oh, when the bard tells the story, it becomes true.
Some such.
Mm-hmm.
I held the handrail of the stairs and went down slowly. I could hear the sound of wooden cups knocking on tables from the hall, and the smell of barley spread through the fire-warmed air. Oh, wow, that is... characters.
Many costs.
Sure enough, more guests came as soon as it was sunny.
Ah, finally up, eh? God, it must be nice to have a cushy smart guy job where you don't have to wake up before dawn.
Oh, come on. I only get to sleep late during the holidays. I scratched my disheveled hair a few times. Would you say
Giannis?
Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, why are you here so early?
The dock's completely frozen. It's either be bored at home or come drinking at the tavern.
He reached out and clasped hands with me, squeezing tight. Ugh, what the hell? I still need that hand, you know?
Maybe you should exercise more. How are you gonna catch criminals if you can't even take a handshake?
Giannis clapped me on the shoulder as he spoke. Easy.
I'm just messing with you. So, are you gonna stay here during the Christmas holiday? I figured someone like you would go on a trip or something.
Ow. Well, I can't travel with these injuries. I think you broke something important.
Maybe I should put you out of your misery then.
No thanks. If you pat me to death, you'll just ruin Zarn's business.
Nah, heavy petting is for paying customers only.
Giannis grinned and raised a hand just as Zarn poked his head out of the kitchen.
Remember, Giannis, if you keep messing around, I'll throw you out. Not everyone here is as big, buff, and tough as you, sailor. For example, Peter.
Hey, don't look down on me.
Peter slapped his hands on the table and stood up. But it's true. I mean, I've never seen Giannis lay a finger on you.
That's because he knows he can't mess with me.
Really? You want to take me on, Fluffy?
No, I don't want to end up losing control and breaking you in half.
Either do it or shut up.
Well, it's not like my body's weaker than yours. All right, there are some things that don't have to be forced. Why must different races be so different? At least everyone is the same in a legal sense.
What's the use?
Is this a thing that comes up in, like, the furry community much in terms of, like, inter-character dialogue? Is there a discussion on physiogony much?
Not usually. I think most furry media has the good sense to not get, like, bio-truths about it. Of course, the most popular furry media of the past decade, Zootopia, got extremely
specifically
bio-truths
about
it.
that. Yes, yeah.
Which is maybe a proper example of why people don't do it.
I don't need to deal with criminals every day like you. The law is unequal, and it is my business. Besides, what else is the same in a legal sense?
Booze, money,
and-
and random
oh, right.
charges. And room charges, rather. I just randomly charge you for everything, actually.
Those aren't even legally mandated. That's just you being an opportunist. Speaking of opportunists, hey Kane, did you find another job yet?
Well, a few days ago, the cook at the small restaurant nearby quit because of the low salary. I figured I'd go and try my luck. I mean, it's a long shot, given how many times I've been canned in the past. Sad.
Maybe try and get a hold of your temper. No one will dare to hire you if you have another attack. If you could control your temper, perhaps Zarn would hire you as a kitchen assistant in the busy season.
Look, keeping my temper was as easy as you said, then I wouldn't have gotten kicked out of so many.
It's okay. Nobody in the world's perfect. Better comfort him a bit, or he'll just end up blowing up later.
Oh my god.
I just want everything to go smoothly this time.
See a therapist. Anger management is important.
Kane started to drink alone.
Good morning,
Christ.
Kane.
Seemed that everyone hasn't changed much. Same as last year when I couldn't get a case and spent a lot of time in taverns. Good old days. Sure, being broke and staring at an empty wallet hurt, but in the company of my friends, life didn't seem to be so sad. What should I do now?
We can map.
Should I map or talk?
What option on map? Because I assume this is like a Phoenix Wright style menu.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh,
Toilet?
I can't.
The salle de bain?
I'll go to the restroom and comb my hair. I wet my hands, posed for a better angle, and combed my hair carefully in the mirror. Falling gray hairs fluttered down like snow from my scalp, eventually landing in the wash basin. Shedding season had already passed, obviously, even those falling hairs had regrown in the winter. Maybe I should take care of myself better the next time I get busy. Last thing I need to do is look terrible in front of clients.
Neat.
Okay. And
Kitchen? Or I guess that's a...
as a matter of fact, I don't know which room Elgin was using. I should ask Zarn. Roman and just... Okay.
Mhm.
We can also go to the attic. or corridor?
I guess corridor is where we currently are.
No one in the corridor. I'm curious to just look at the attic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Attic was Zarn's room, though Anzox was also living there temporarily. There weren't any stairs between the third floor and the attic, only a ladder that went up and down. The ladder was usually pulled up into the attic, but you could use the rope connected to the top of the ladder by a pulley to bring it down. The rope, which was set between the second and third room on the left, dangled loosely.
I see it.
The ladder would... Yes. I really shouldn't enter Zarn's room without permission.
Way to bury the
Okay.
lead. You should probably lead on
Right?
that.
I'm
Yeah, and check out the salon.
a little thirsty. Maybe just one more drink. I squeezed behind the counter, grabbed a mug, and slipped into the cellar. Wait a moment. I better ask Zarn first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're just gonna go socialize. That's fine. Let's continue to chat in the lobby. Or should we
Oh, see what's
should
in
we
the
socialize
kitchen.
here? Or...
Because
Yeah,
the
let's-
kitchen is an option we haven't looked at yet. Oh, you can.
I raised
It
the
just
board.
does it. God.
Sometimes I wonder how Zarn can cram himself into such a small place. Poked my head through the curtain. Zarn was washing the dishes, but stopped and turned to me.
What's the matter, Roman? Ask about elegance, Rem. I don't think we need to drink this early.
Elegant is still staying here, right? I wonder which room is hers.
Third room on the right.
Thanks.
Neat.
Do we want to go?
Sure,
Do we
yeah,
want to
yeah,
go say hi to Elegant?
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, all of my drinking buddies. Fuck off. I need to speak to a cat right now.
No one ever told Roman to not put the pussy on a pedestal.
Who is it?
It's me, Roman.
Is there something the matter? Oh, through the door.
Are you there? I think it has to be purpose of
Yeah.
disguising.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to ask a quick question. Sorry?
Hmm.
Elegant opened the door and stood there, looking at me expectantly. Her hand didn't leave the doorknob. I wanted to know why you dress like that. I asked in a low voice.
Do you wonder about the reason which I dress like this? Or are you questioning the motive?
Why not both? Elegant stepped away a bit, leaving enough room for me to squeeze through the door sideways. Not sure if I should try. Her body language and expression suggested she wasn't looking for company.
Would you rather stand at my door and speak? You are aware of the recent arrivals downstairs, are you not?
She moved back again further. I slipped into the room and she shut the door behind me. Irregulars here. Decent people. You don't need to be worried about them.
Well, except for the one that's a murderer. They may be decent individuals in this place, but that does not mean they are so outside of it. You've already seen through my disguise, so I feel no need to hide. The same cannot be said of them. As of this moment, the only ones I trust are Zon and you.
Ah, I didn't realize I was included. It's an honor.
Given your relationship with Zon, I can trust you. For now.
I'd make for an excellent ally.
There is no great reason why I'm here. I got a big job in the last tavern.
I don't suppose you'd be willing to share next time.
Only if you accept a 90-10 split for the fee.
Do I get the 90?
Are you familiar with
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Are you familiar with the Cathedral of St. Isaac?
But what's that?
A cathedral of St. Isaac under the Dios. Oh,
Diocese.
Thank you. Under the Rimph Diocese, currently under construction in the capital. 12 years ago, there was a disaster when one of the central pillars collapsed. The noble brothers who were supervising the construction site, the elder is called Brando, and the younger name is Dio, or Jonathan, as I suppose, which is still a JoJo name. So hey, the joke's
True,
actually, isn't that? Yeah, cool, intentional.
Yep.
The elder is called Brando, and the younger's name is Jonathan, who were buried under the rubble. According to the reports of the junior clergy to the local abbot, the collapse was caused by the brothers, who had lined their pockets by using substandard materials and cheating the workers. So the story proved to be the perfect tool to persuade others to donate. After all, everyone fears the punishment of God. People are willing to give up anything, so long as they avoid the flames of hell. Angry elegant. According to reports of the junior clergy to the local abbot, the collapse was caused by the brothers who had lined their pockets. Oh.
Huh.
Did we not? There was a very similar sentence to before.
I think identical, yes.
Yeah, okay.
How strange. So I'm guessing you were hired to investigate further?
Yes. Now that I've settled in, I plan to insinuate myself into the cathedral.
Your client didn't tell you to come to the White Star, did they?
Of course. Travelers and mercenaries tend to stop in at taverns such as these as they travel. You know as well as I that the tavern rumor mill is awash with contacts and ways to exchange information.
But why spend so much money investigating a closed case about something involving the church?
That is neither my problem nor my concern. Take the job, perform the job, take the payment. Anything else is immaterial. I do not concern myself with any secrets my client may have.
Elegant turned and opened the door. It seemed that she was counting my questions as immaterial as well. Elegant turned and looked back to me, waiting silently. Well, sorry to bother you. I left quickly and sensibly. The door shut behind me with a click.
Ooh, not even goodbye, damn. All right, let's talk to the rabble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do we chat some more or go to lunch?
I see. So that speaking to Elegant was actually the flag for like plot progression, and these guys probably have things to say, but not necessarily required for solving the case at hand. I would, for the sake of expediency and getting to an actual murder, would love to progress time.
Yeah, let's have lunch. Smells like vegetable stew.
Yay. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that Kane decided to bust into my kitchen and, quote, show you idiots what actual vegetable stew is like. Luckily for you guys, he cooked the stew before I managed to hurl him out onto the street. The bad news is today's lunch is vegetable stew.
You don't have any smoked fish?
Sorry, you ate the last of it yesterday. Anyway, bon appetit.
I stirred the stew with my spoon and the thick soup swirled slowly in the bowl. Giannis was holding the bowl to his face and dumping the liquid into his open maw. That really can't be a healthy way to eat anything. Kane ate his masterpiece contentedly without hesitation while glancing at me secretly from time to time. I lowered my head immediately and had a few bites.
I died.
It's nice to relax, by the fire in the afternoon. The snow was falling again outside, so Czar needed to sweep the snowflakes which were blown from the doorway. Soft snow heaped onto the street and muffled all sound, like when you block up your ears with soft cotton. Everything bad or unpleasant, from outside disputes to bad ideas, is muffled by the snow. The slightly sweet scent of fresh air, chilled by the winter cold, lingers in the nose. The wind, heavy with floating snow, tapped the wooden door enough that a band of sunlight could shine through the gap across the wall. Suddenly, the door swung open.
Ah, it's so cold. Can I get something to warm me up?
A white, fluffy dragon. A fluffy, white-furred dragon staggered in, carrying a suitcase that was almost as big as he was and leaning on a cane.
What's Oh, okay. What's a child doing out in the snow like this? Well, hurry up, boy. Come in and have a rest. Don't call me a boy. Would a child be carrying this?
He produced a medical license from his pocket and brandished it up at Zarn like a dagger. Zarn frowned as he read it.
Oh, my apologies, Master Doctor. Please forgive my rudeness. The last thing I need is to freeze to death before I get back to my clinic. I'll just be waiting for the snow to calm down. Of course, of course. Please warm yourself by the fire. I'll carry your things.
Zarn tried to lift the suitcase, then let out a labored groan as he shifted it.
Ugh, what in God's name? It's so heavy. Considering he's able to fling a person outside with a single hand.
It's just one solid brick of mercury. The dragon took off his thick and heavy coat, climbed onto the chair opposite me, and reclined with a sigh of full contentment.
You know, dragon science. Greetings, I'm Thrivey, a physician by trade.
He rose slightly and stretched out his right hand. I returned the handshake. Roman, it's a pleasure. Maybe I'll be your patient in the future. His lips convulsed slightly. Lightly, even.
I hope that day never comes. Mostly a mortician, you see.
That's also what I'm guessing. His hands were covered with soft white fur from the palm to the back of his hands. The stray snowflakes which he brought from outside were melting on his fur. He looked like he'd fit right in with some of Zarn's paintings.
Yes, there was the implication that Zarn painted those himself. Which, interesting. Dragon genealogy, I guess. Now then, where in the blazes am I? I'd never pass by here. The only reason I managed to spot this place was the lamp outside.
This is the White Star Tavern. The White Dragon looked at me with confusion. The Vela District.
The Vela District? My word. Well, I hadn't expected to get quite so lost.
He shrugged his shoulders and looked around. Just then, the door shook violently and gave the blizzard access to the inside of the room. The falling snowflakes flew up and down with the invading storm.
What was that 808 kick earlier?
Yeah. I guess the sound of the door swinging open? At the same time, someone cursed loudly in the cellar. Mind your language. There's a
Now, fuck off. I'm not a child.
Wow, I think that is the first swear we've had in the story so far.
To make it pointed.
The gale howled outside. If someone were to go out now, he'd be mad or suicidal. Normally, shutting the door was an easy task, but became much harder than usual in this situation.
Elegant, comes down the stairs and goes, well, I'm not a he, and just runs into the white.
The snow from the crack whirled across my nose and eyes. I shut the door with all my strength, then found a chair to block it up. Phew. As I moved to sit back down, the door hinges creaked loudly as someone rattled the knob. What the? Oh, hell. There was a hyena lying there, wrapped tightly in a thin hooded robe. This is a tavern? Please, I humbly ask for shelter and a warm hearth. May I stay? He crawled to his feet in embarrassment, and as I shrugged as an answer and pointed to the cellar, just as another crash echoed from within. I'm not the boss. I can't call the shots. Perhaps the owner will show kindness and not hurl me into the street. He took off the robe on the back of a chair, then kicked back and leaned heavily. Partially suspended chair groaned under the pressure.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh? Going so soon, Doctor?
Zarn stood in the doorway to the cellar with mugs of ale in his hands as Thrivey was getting up from the chair.
I'm not feeling well and to find a place to rest. Do you have any available rooms?
How strange. Thrivey looked just fine seconds ago, and now he looks all pale and weak.
Let me think. I haven't cleaned the other rooms yet. Otherwise, I can offer the space I have in the attic.
Thrivey walked to the stairs quickly, politely refusing the cup Zarn offered.
Thank you. But I'm a little queasy at the moment. My stomach's a bit too delicate for alcohol.
Well, no need to... Oh man, I can't remember what voice I was giving this guy. Well,
Nervous.
No need to waste such fine ale. Zarn stared in surprise as the hyena plucked the mug from his hand without any hesitation and intended to drink.
Oh, hold on. You're a friar, aren't you?
Perhaps he's also a pretender like Elegant. Oh, don't bother with such rigid rules. Ah, 'tis far nobler to not waste the gifts granted by God.
Interesting. I guess, thinking at least of like British monks and friars, a lot of them brewed beer or spirits as part of like their general operations. Maybe it's a thing of you can brew it but you can't drink it, but that feels unlikely. Also, yes, I'm waiting for this guy to run into Elegant and both of them being like, faker. Well, how should I address you?
Zarn crossed out a whole line on the bill with his pencil, then added a few words. It seems like you don't go to church on weekends, or you know my name.
I would go, but seeing as I'm the only one working at this tavern, I don't have much chance. Excuse me.
With a slight frown, Zarn turned back and quickly retreated into the kitchen. I suppose that he would stay there for a long time. Oh, I just remembered I have something important to. Good, but... What else is more important than rescuing your soul, my child? Come now. Stay. The moment I touched the stair railing, the hyena had pinned my hand with a smile. The blink of the phi cross which hung on his chest was dazzling. Well, so much for escaping.
Oh.
What's your name? I believe I've never seen your face before in my church. I'm not in this parish. That doesn't matter. Even though we are from different parishes, all of us are in the same family. I'm Father Heron. Nice to meet you. I stretched out 3 fingers and gingerly shook his hand. I'm Roman. Nice to... He interrupted me before I could get a word in edgewise and began to make a speech without any pause, gesturing towards me excitedly. Tell me, child, do you know where we will go after death? I'm sure you never think about that. How to settle your audiences to sleep. Step 1. Ask a question and answer it yourself. He let go of my hand and I quickly climbed the stairs. Thrivey was standing in the corridor and staring blankly up at the ceiling.
Surely there's some way to...
Here,
is he
leave
too
it to me.
short?
I went ahead and untied the knot step by step. The white dragon watched as I untied the strings from the wooden handle quietly beside me. Okay, I got it. Next step is just...
How much of a bastard do you want to be?
Oh man. I'm gonna save, and I want to see what happens if we just let that shit rip.
Mm-hmm.
Let go of the rope.
Send the small dragon to God, says Tom in chat.
Almost at the same time when I let it, the ladder fell with a loud slam. The white dragon's stream accompanied the twang of a pulley, causing me to jump back. Ladder dropped down so fast that the force of wind stirred my hair. Ladder slammed into the place where I stood just then, splintering the wooden boards of the floor.
Oh, he would have destroyed himself. Wow. Almost. Are you all right?
Don't worry. I'm fine. Not scared at all. Go on up, please. Felt like a scared mouse moving to my own room quickly. The nightstand was half opened. I moved quickly, pulling open the drawer and began searching. My wallet was still there, as were my magnifying glasses in their fleece bag. The evidence case from the crime scene. I rummaged through the sundries I had stored in there, my hand dipping down into the drawer. Finally, my finger touched a cold and hard object buried deep among the linens. There it is. I tucked the case back down deep underneath my things and stuffed everything back in the drawer. Quietly cursed the lack of a lock. Cheap bastard Zarn must have thought nobody would bother to rob his guests. Imagine that. Nothing was lost, but I know I didn't leave the drawer open. Think, who had access to my room after lunch?
I mean, elegant.
Only 2 can be excluded. Who didn't have the chance into my room after lunch?
Zahn and Thrivey feel...
I think it would be
Thrivey
Zarn
and Heron, I guess, because they are new arrivals.
Thrivey could have. Thrivey went up the stairs.
Oh, true,
when
yes.
So I think it's Zarn and Heron, since Heron is the... Yeah. Zarn managed everything all the time from downstairs, so he didn't have time to go upstairs till now. Excluded. Heron... He chattered without a stop in front of me since he got here. He may have made a bad impression, but it wasn't him. As for everyone else, I'll need to investigate. So it is... I swear, I have a sneeze that is halfway out and it's killing me. But,
we're on the hour, and there still has been no murder.
Yes, we have a little bit of intrigue here, but I am curious. Audience and co-host, do we want to continue this and see where this hint of intrigue leads, or do we want to put this down?
There is a bonus.
What a merry Roman Christmas it has been, and do a little bonus.
Yeah, there is a bonus that I'm quite excited about, and I think there is clearly stuff cooking, but it's really buried the lead. Yeah.
It is surprising what a slow cook it is.
I think I'm for having our little bonus. If you're down for that, and you can play that for the next hour or so.
Absolutely, yes.
In that case, let me go and hide the stream, because you'll get not the stream, but your feed, because we'll get desktop otherwise, won't we? Because of the way you're capturing it on a video. So let me go and hide that.
Sure. Yes.
We can stare at the detective's office graphic.
Okay, so I've hit save. Also, fun fact that I have uncovered is the red dragon Anzox. I don't know if that's someone's persona, but it's definitely. Oh,
Is it super close to a?
No. It's okay. So the guy who made Roman's Christmas, I think Anzox may be a character that he's used separately, because there's a lot of art of Anzox by I believe by this artist that is unrelated to Roman's Christmas.
Is it still like a? Oh, actually, I was so eager for the bonus that we didn't really do our normal thing of kind of like, what did you think about the experience? A thing that crossed my mind really early on, when Anzox introduced himself as a bard, and I was like, this is a media that is part of the wider suite of medias where people have turned their Dungeons and Dragons campaign into like cross-media content, which has been true ever since like the anime Record of Lodoss War. It's a pretty common thing, but you can always tell when it is a fantasy piece and it is like an RPG bard, or it's like a RPG paladin, and I was like, that's a very, very Dungeons and Dragons looking bard. Oh, Record of Lodoss War is an ancient show now. If you don't know what that is, Rafi,
I've certainly
Basically,
heard of it several times.
so like actual play in Japan is a little different. They have had for the longest time the idea of essentially play reports, which is essentially
Mhm.
like an actual play but in novel format, or in sometimes even in script format. And Record of Lodoss War was somebody's like D&D second edition kind of campaign when like elf is a class you could be. And it did so well as like a playthrough novel series. It got adapted to an anime in like the 80s or so, which I don't think is very good, unfortunately, or rather I felt it was a bit dull to my taste, but it's kind of an institution in its own right. Right down to the fact that there are a large number of fan games, including like a Castlevania Symphony of the Night clone called Deedlit in Wonderland. That's a popular like speedrunning game. So it's like a really old series that has still managed to have some degree of Japanese like cultural relevance, but it is like the OG pop culture example of I thought that my D&D campaign was fascinating, so I have just turned it into this other piece of media.
A deadly trap to fall into.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. If you asked me, I would say it was a bad idea then. But anyway, what did you think of Roman's Christmas so
Roman's
far?
Christmas. Yeah, I like the character designs for. Yeah, I'd say I like the character designs. The gulf between the backgrounds and the character designs is kind of funny to me.
Sure.
Not that the backgrounds are bad; they're just quite unremarkable. They feel kind of stock.
I agree.
I so I took a quick glance at other people's reviews of Roman's Christmas, which are all quite positive, but these are just like Steam user reviews. And so apparently people like, there are deaths to be investigated later on. And this, I think this, to misuse an adjective, this felt a bit Dickensian insofar as it made me wonder whether the writer was being paid by the word. That's overstating it for comedy's sake, but it was definitely. I think the writing could have been tightened a good amount. Yes, I'm sure some of that is translation. There was a lot of things where it was like, okay, if this was first language writing, I would be wagging a finger at like, oh, you repeated this word too much, kind of thing. But for a translation, I'm not going to be clutching my pearls over it, but it did. Yeah, I would have preferred if it got to the meat of things faster and boiled things down a little bit more.
Because I guess the bard tale and sitting around for the story, I don't know, because it might have been a but thou must, and if you try to go to bed, like Anzox makes you sit and do it anyway. But if it had kind of conveyed that, like, oh, sitting around for this story essentially is the tutorial for the game mechanics, you can skip it, I probably would have been like, yeah, skip it. But it definitely is pacing issues regardless of translation is definitely a vibe. Is that what a lot of the reviews have said? Have they also kind of been like, slow burn?
No, I didn't. From my very quick skim, I didn't see anyone mention the pacing or anything. It was like people were basically just kind of saying that, oh, sometimes the translation makes it so you like sentences take a little bit to put together. Yeah, some people are saying like, wow, every chapter was a new day met with a new tragedy. I wasn't expecting to grow so attached to some of the characters. I don't know. I'm not going to put too much stock into that, honestly, because I do not expect the average Steam user who's writing reviews to have like writing taste that aligns with mine.
Sure. Yes.
But I would say so far I'm curious about where things go, but the amount that it has been like, oh, well, this idea has potential, rather than, oh, this is interesting, is concerning. You know, it's there are many pieces at play where I'm like, this could pay off in an interesting way, and I want to see where it does, because that could be rewarding, but it could. I'm skeptical, and the fact that it would be a not insignificant time investment.
Yeah, a gamble considering the time investment, for sure, for sure.
I am seeing people on Steam who are leaving the more thorough reviews have put like 10 to 20 hours into the game.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that long then, considering we got... Well, I've found from doing these kind of like read-throughs for a while that reading the game out loud doubles the runtime. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do not think that... I guess... I don't know how long I would be willing to wait to see if it is worth my time, though. I feel
For
like
sure.
From the time we spent, that was probably enough to go like, oh,
Part of me was like,
Probably
I want to
not.
see one of these actual tragedies occur,
Yeah,
especially.
right?
But I'm also like, time is short. There are other visual novels to read. But
there so many things. Also, I find it really funny that I went and was like, I wonder how much art of like how much art on a certain website is tagged Roman's Christmas. Oh, there are only two pieces. Interesting. They're both tagged with that Red Dragon character.
And they are fan art done by the artist.
Well, I suspect that this character predates Roman's Christmas because they have drawn a lot of this. Okay, they've drawn a decent amount of this character in settings that are very much not Roman's Christmas. I'll put it that way.
Without going into finer details on it, but is it like the same genre? Are they all fantasy? Or is it like, this is in modern street clothes?
This is like, I'm looking at one where he's in like a like, it looks like a metal superhero outfit or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So multiple different works in there. Interesting, fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect on game designers putting their own C's in their own works, to be honest. There is so much like...
I found it. Okay, sorry. This Anzox is one of the creators' personas.
Right. Yes. Okay. So to that end, I mad respect for people basically putting in their own OCs and in jokes into their work in a way that doesn't feel opaque. The number of direct references to either campaigns and one shots and stuff that I've written off air being reflected in City of Uspers as a full text is a lot. It is all for me, and people who know will know, but it won't, affect the experience for people who read it who haven't been privy to off-air games they've run
At
or
worst,
written.
it should be invisible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, there is something very satisfying about being able to kind of do OC work in a thing. I did like Magic the Gathering tokens as a thing to sell at cons a while ago. And the artwork for the detective token was Cirrus Moocher, one of my Net Battlers characters from a couple years ago, who's a detective. And people who buy it don't know that, and they don't need to care. But I had a lot of joy in drawing a character I liked a lot very well. So I understand. I understand the hustle.
So I think ultimately I don't remember the names of the ratings.
Our third
but
option is clueless for stuff we would leave.
I think I am probably inclined to say clueless. I wish it's like, I'm slightly tempted to say investigating.
Yeah,
but
it's like close to investigating, but I think they just needed to kind of come with a source earlier. I'm like, how long do we have to wait until we get to the point? Because the worst scenario is that it's like, okay, let's see what this first tragedy is. And then you put up with it. You go for another hour and then you're like, oh, okay, is that it?
Yeah, right. Right.
So I think I wouldn't want to take that risk when there are other mystery games out there that I know that have a much more compelling mystery. And people are still talking about the Seance of Blake Manor, by the by. I keep hearing about it. So
Yeah, I saw that
returning to that in
mentioned.
my own time is a thing I probably should do, considering there seems to be a lot of genuine buzz about how that game works.
I know the Thinky Games put out their nominees for the 2025 Thinky Awards. And okay, no, sorry, never mind. That was not one of the nominees for Game of the Year. I thought I saw it on maybe that was mentioned elsewhere as like a, mystery games of note from the year.
Yeah,
But
very funny that the Thinky Awards exist, because that fully posits the suggestion that there are enough games that are unthinky enough for the person to organize that to be irritated by it and specifically highlight games that make you think, not unlike these other brainless video games.
I at once agree and also find it funny how like hearing the concept and you're like, they must have been mad.
No, but like I think it's the name, but it's kind of like, ooh, these are the games that make you think. It's very kind of like, okay, all right.
Yes, specifically, I think they're very focused on puzzle games.
Yes,
but
yes.